Right, let's do your theme for the week ahead, the week of the 10th to the 16th of July 2022. The cards on the table here in front of me, we have the Word of the Year Oracle, which are these two decks, or these two piles combined, and I also have the Divine Directions Oracle as well, which the combination of these three is going to give us the theme for the week ahead. So we start off by shuffling the orange, and we're looking for a single card from the orange, and each of these generally only have a single word on them, so the two words combined is what creates the theme. Okay, so just giving it a little shuffle like that. And let's find a card that looks like it wants us to pick it. On that one over there. So there we have from the orange pile. Let's do the green pile. Giving it a shuffle. We're looking for the second half of our phrase for that creates the theme for the week ahead. The week of the 10th to the 16th of July 2022. Okay, and let's see if we can find a card. That one is the one that I want. Right, so let's turn them over and have a look. What is our theme for the coming week? Simple. I like simple. Simple delight. How beautiful is that? Simple delight. So, you know, it needs no explanation. We're going to keep it simple and we're going to keep it delightful. We're going to keep doing everything that we need to and everything that we want to. And I think simple delight for me, while I rearrange the cards here quickly, simple delight for me immediately talks to just taking delight in everything that we do, not overcomplicating anything, just accepting and trusting everything as it is, you know, and I want to say just accepting things as they are, accepting things at face value and being grateful, being happy, being content, being delighted with whatever it is that comes your way. And not overcomplicating, because we often hear people talk about things of, I'll only be happy when this is done, then I will smile, then I will relax, then I will be happy. So we put so much conditions on our happiness, on our delight, on our success. And I think, you know, looking at simple delight, it's basically saying to us, let's not do that. Let's just actually be in the now, be in the moment. Let's be happy and content with whatever we have, with whatever the environment is, whatever the universe is giving to us, and just recognize and accept it as it is. So I have also now chosen a card from the Divine Directions Oracle. Let's turn it over and see what its message is for us. Abundance. So great news is heading your way. Abundance is coming to you in many forms. Now, I love the fact that they complete the sentence with many forms, okay? Because immediately what that says to you is it may not come in the way that you expect it, all right? It may not look as you expect it to. It may look a little bit different. I'm actually going to stick it across the top there because there's no glare. It may look a little bit different. And again, that's where this simple delight comes into play, because simple delight is also reminding you, simple, whatever it is, however the abundance comes, however the abundance is displayed, or whatever it looks like, let's be delighted about it. Let's be excited about it. Let's not say, oh, so I only won that little bit of money when actually you wanted to win a lot more. Let's be grateful, happy, and content with whatever little bit of delight and abundance comes your way, because it will be in many forms. Now, abundance in many forms means if you're hoping, wanting, needing money, your abundance may come in scratch cards. You know, it may come in another form. So don't think, oh, now I have to sit and scratch all of these. Rather practice simple delight and go, yay, I get to scratch all of these, okay? And when we change our attitude like that, when we change our perspective like that, it's amazing how the abundance just seems to grow and grow and grow. But when you look at an offering or a gift and you immediately see the negative, or you immediately go, oh, is that all? The universe says, okay, so you've obviously had enough, and they stop. But when you practice simple delight over everything, of any kind of abundance, any kind of gift or offering that comes your way, get excited about it. And the universe goes, oh, look, she likes that. Let's give more. Let's give more. It's a way of tricking the universe, but your simple delight has to be genuine. You know, it has to be truthful. It has to be honest. It has to be full of integrity. So simple delight for the theme for the week ahead, I think, is really awesome. I'm excited about that. And we're looking at the week of the 10th to the 16th of July 2022. All right. it's time for the crystal reading. So crystal reading, I have a pack of 100 crystals here. We're going to shuffle and we're looking for a single crystal, that crystal energy that we can all work with for the week ahead. A crystal energy that's going to help us practice simple delight, that's going to help us attract and be open to abundance in its many forms, and a crystal that may even help with physical healing, emotional healing, mental healing, spiritual healing, whatever it is that we need. So, done a little bit of a shuffle. Let's cut the cards over there and taking one off the top. Put the crystal cards aside and let's have a look. What crystal card do we have for the week ahead? We have got Ruby. I am not even going to try and say that. Joysile? I'm going to call it Joysile. Oh, Joysight. See, I can't even read the writing. It's Joysight. So Ruby Joysight can enhance your psychic abilities and help negative energy turn into positive. It can combat mood swings and prevent overreactions. It can boost male and female fertility as well as helping you to maintain your individuality. So its element is spirit. The chakras are the heart and the crown chakras. And its affirmation says, I am calm and have stability in my moods. And you know what? To me, that ties in so beautifully with Simple Delight, because it's basically saying to you that when we turn a negative energy into a positive energy, that's when we practice simple delight, because the negative would be the disappointment at the simplicity of the abundance of the simpleness. But when we turn it into a delight, when we switch it over, suddenly the abundance becomes bigger and more. That's what talks about fertility. Abundance and fertility are one and the same thing. Fertility is the ability to create, to manifest, to grow. Abundance is exactly that. It's receiving something that you have manifested, attracted, and grown. So far, everybody is talking the same language. Everybody is tying in with each other. And it's quite interesting. We've got the orange and the green. And I know this has got a pinkish color to it, which is why it refers to the heart chakra. But, you know, it does have a slight orange hue to it. And then we've got the green and pink here as well. And like an aqua color. So the colors are all blending so far as well, which is quite interesting. So Ruby Zoisite, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't have a piece of this crystal. I'm not even aware of this color crystal, but it obviously exists if it's in the deck, if I could put it that way. But just because we don't own a piece doesn't mean we cannot utilize and benefit from the properties of the crystal. So by thinking about it, by meditating on it, by looking at pictures of it, by just reading up about it, you are basically bringing in the energies of that particular crystal. The other thing that you could do is, if you do have a clear quartz crystals they have multiple purposes, multiple uses, and can be used in so many ways. I don't think a lot of people realize the power of a quartz crystal. So what you could do is, if you have a quartz crystal in your hand and you hold it cupped in your hand like that, you could intend it, you could imagine it, you could perceive it to be this particular crystal, and it will help you with the energies and the elements that you need. So what I recommend you doing is, if you have a piece of quartz crystal, and most people do, I have got many lying around me, is to grab one, and preferably one that doesn't have another use for you or another function for you. Hold it in your hands, and while you're holding it in your hands, I'm going to put this back up here. If you want to pause the screen, if you want to take a photo of that, if you want to do whatever you need to do with that, do it now. And if you just keep reading and reading and repeating that statement while you hold the quartz crystal in your hand, it would be as if you were holding that particular kind of crystal, and you can bring those psychic abilities to enhance or to amplify your psychic abilities and help the negative energy turn into positive. So whatever your negative issue is, or scenario or situation is, by holding it there and imagining the crystal, intending it to be that, you could turn your disappointment, your negative, into delight and abundance. I love that. Combating mood swings. I think we're all suffering with mood swings at the moment. I don't know about you, but I think it's a common thing right now, okay? Let's be honest. Life is pretty hard. Life is pretty difficult, and we're all finding it difficult to manage. So mood swings, I can be perfectly happy 1 minute, and the next minute I could be flying off the handle, because the anxiety, the stress, the panic, the fear, all of those emotions are high for absolutely every single one of us. All right. Next on our agenda, friends, is our angel messages. Now, I'm working with two very old decks today to get our angel messages. These decks, one is a local deck created by a local South African, one that I bought off a friend, of a very good friend of mine, oh gosh, many, many years ago. I have treasured this deck, and I believe it might still be available to purchase. I am working with the Angel Coves Oracle, Angel Coves. So these, like I said, this is such an old deck, but it's messages from the angels. I don't even know how many cards there are, but let's just shuffle. We're doing angel messages. We're doing messages from our angels. So angels are generally spirits that want to help us, that want to guide us, that want to ease our burdens, that want to help us navigate life into a better place. Angels all have a voice, they all have a function and a purpose. Most of the time, their function and their purpose is to aid you, to help you, to assist you. So as we're shuffling the card, this is for the collective, this is for everybody. We're looking for a message for everybody, a message from the angels, for all of us, for this week ahead. What message do you have for us, angels? What is something important that we all need to hear? And apparently breakthrough it is. So as you can see, these are not graphic cards. They literally just have a phrase or a paragraph on it. Breakthrough says your angels are preparing you for a breakthrough. It is time to take a step up to the next level in your life. You have endured much. They have been witness to the sorrow and the pain, and it is time to move on. Make preparation for something powerful and new in your life. Your endurance has paid off. How beautiful is that? I love that. So again, screenshot it, save it, use it for the week ahead. Right, he's going to have to live there where there is no glare. And again, your angels are preparing you for a breakthrough. Let's be excited about that. Let's practice simple delight. The breakthrough is going to bring through the abundance. It's going to bring through the healing. It's going to help us to change the negative into a positive, because that is a major breakthrough. So far, everything is blending. The messages are correlating. Is that a big word to use? Correlating. So the next angel card that I want to use, I don't know if any of you have ever seen this deck. It is, gosh, I couldn't even begin to tell you how old it is. I couldn't even, I'm just looking on the box to see if it has a time frame. It does not. It does not. So there's something there. 1996, friends. And in case you think I'm lying to you, let's see if the camera will focus. 1996. It is a US Games deck, and it is called Angel Meditations. There are 64 illustrated cards containing affirmations and meditations from the angels. So it is a deck that I've had. It's still in pristine condition. I don't use it very often because I've always just treasured it. I think when I didn't get it in 1996, but I think I got it quite close to then, and I did get it as a brand new. So let's shuffle and let's look. We're looking for, again, a confirmation message from our angels, an affirmation message from our angels, something that we can focus on this week as we go through our breakthrough, as we practice simple delight, as we attract and allow abundance into our lives, and we allow the ruby zoisite, the ruby zoisite to work with us, to connect with us, and to free us from our negative outlooks and burdens in life. Okay, happy with that shuffle. Cut the deck there, and we're taking a card at the top. So angel meditations, let's see what we get. We have the angel of balance. I love that. Look at the little artwork. Isn't it gorgeous? So the key phrase says, I trust my inner balance and I allow changes to happen. Changes, changes, changes. Excitement for the changes. So it says, when the personality and the soul work together, there is a balanced flow of energies through our bodies, feelings, and thoughts. So through this feeling of inner balance, we free ourselves from limitations and allow things to happen. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So the angel of balance is working with breakthrough. I think we're going to leave it over there. working with Breakthrough to bring us simple delight. And let's just be grateful for any and all offerings that the angels bring us this week. Let's be open to it all, even if it's not big and fancy and over the top. Any kind of little show of gratitude, little show of help, let's be grateful for that. And let's change and let's turn our abundance. Let's recognize that abundance comes in many forms, and let's allow the breakthrough and the balance and the change to come as it needs to. I love that. Absolutely love that. All right. Now, very interesting. I decided for our elemental readings for this week, I decided to use a deck which was very gentle, it's gentle, but it can and does often pack a punch. But it's a deck that I bought because of its cute factor, but it hasn't actually ever really given cute readings because it is gentle, but it is gentle with an authoritative voice. And that is the Teddy Tarot. And I thought, I felt like I needed a bit of gentleness. I needed a bit of kindness. And I thought, if I feel that way, everybody else does as well. And I'm thinking that the artwork of this particular deck is going to tie in with all of this message so crystal clearly. So as I shuffle the cards, just to explain to you how the elemental readings work, in case this is the first time that you are experiencing them, because we're looking at a short period of time, we're looking at a 7-day cycle, 7-day cycle being Sunday through to the following Saturday. Because it's such a short time period, to do 12 individual readings just seems to be, I'm going to call it overkill, okay? So what I do is I categorize, or I put the zodiacs into their respective elements. So the elements being fire, earth, air, and water. Those are the 4 elements that we deal with. Every single zodiac sign has an associated element with it, all right? So I do a reading for each of the 4 elements. And if you know what your zodiac sign is, and if you know what element it falls into, you basically pay attention to that particular reading, and it'll give you the guidance of what you need for the week ahead. So fire, the element of fire deals with or categorizes Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The elemental sign earth deals with the zodiac signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The element of air covers Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And the element water covers Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And for those of you who are wondering how it plays out or how it works, if you start the zodiac at Aries, for example, and we go Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So if you go through all 12, and then you do fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water, that is how it is basically split up. So the zodiac signs in order, and then you start with the elemental signs in order, and you just continue, and that's how the grouping happens. So if you ever wondered, that's how it does. Okay, cards are shuffled. So at this point, we're going to get on to starting with the elemental readings, and as always, we start with the element of fire. And remember, our fire signs is Aries, Leo, and Sag. So let's have a look. What's in store for you for the next 7 days? What is something important that you need to know, that you need to be aware of, that you need to be mindful of for the next 7 days for fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sag? Okay, let's cut the deck there. Card number 1, we have got the 5 of Swords. Card number 2, we have got the Page of Cups. And card number 3 is the 3 of Wands. So, love the colors. It suddenly brings a whole different energy to the table view. All right, so fire signs for the week ahead. I'm just looking at the overall feel here, and I feel a little bit disjointed. Okay, when I look at these 3 cards, I suddenly feel as if things are not as clear and concise and as easy to understand and interpret as I would want or as I would need. Because we start off with the 5 of Swords, and the 5 of Swords is the card that says sometimes we have to be nasty. Sometimes we have to do things that cause other people heartache, distress, hurt, pain, discomfort. Sometimes that happens to us because sometimes we are the little teddies that are walking away who have been hurt and bullied almost, okay? Or sometimes we are this person who is the one who's doing the bullying or the, like, I don't know, bullying is probably the very wrong word, and I apologize for using that word. But sometimes, sometimes we have to learn to say no. Sometimes we have to stand up for ourselves. And that's basically what this teddy is doing. This teddy is saying, I've always given in to you. I've always allowed you to have and do what you want. But actually, this time around, I'm standing up and I'm saying no. Sometimes I have to be a little bit more assertive. So are you that one walking away, or are you this one that's standing up for yourself? And fire signs, as typical fire sign energy, this would be you. Fire signs are the ones who are strong enough, brave enough, courageous enough to stand up. Then we have the Page of Cups. Now, the Page of Cups, he's curious, okay? He's inquisitive, he's curious. He's got that kind of nervous energy about him, and he's like, I want to see, okay? I want to know what's going on. I want to know how it's going to work out. This is somebody who doesn't have patience. This is somebody who doesn't want to wait until tomorrow to find out. Like, can I have it now? Okay? Super eager, super excited about everything. So we've got standing up for ourselves, and then we've got this kind of almost innocent naivety. All right, so we've got these conflicting cards, if I may call them that, and then we've got yet another conflicting card where we've sort of made decisions and we've decided what we're doing, and now we're saying, you know what, I'm heading off on a journey. I'm doing something for myself. I'm leaving everything behind, and you know what, you can't stop me. There's no stopping me. Decisions have been made. My bags are packed. I'm going. I'm just waiting for the plane to arrive. I'm getting on the plane and I'm going. So we've got, like I said, it's a very, I feel very all over the place with this particular reading. There doesn't seem to be anything consistent. We've got swords, we've got cups, we've got wands, we've got a 5, we've got a page, and we've got a 3. There's nothing that is a common here. So this is basically saying, fire signs, that you might find yourself a little bit all over the place this week. Okay, you may find yourself having to be assertive, standing up for yourself. You may find yourself also getting super excited about a small thing, about a whatever. And you might also find yourself getting a little bit like impatient with having to wait for something to happen that you have already decided on, acted on, and are just waiting for. So it certainly looks like it's a week of a little bit all over the place. Now, let's remember our angel message that we had, because the angel message seems to relate very strongly to your message, fire signs, because we've got breakthrough, which says that your angels are preparing you for a breakthrough. It's time to take a step up to the next level in your life. You have endured much, and they have been witness to the sorrow and pain. It's time to move on. See, that's what that card's doing. It's time to move on. Make preparation for something powerful and new in your life. And maybe by being a little bit more assertive, by standing up to yourself, to others, to everything, by doing that, maybe what you're doing is you are preparing for the adventure, and that's where the excitement comes from. So I really feel, fire signs, that the angel message, simple delight, everything has been very on point for each of you for this week ahead. So fire signs, I wish you a week of love. I wish you success. I wish you simple delight for the week ahead. Let me know how it turns out for you, because that's really very interesting. All right, I am going to place the cards over there, and thankfully these ones are not glossy, so we don't have a glare problem at all. We're now going to move on to our earth element being Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, let's have a look and see what's in store for you for the week ahead. And as always, we're looking at the week of the 10th to the 16th of July 2022 for the next 7 days, Sunday through to Saturday, for all our earth energies of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Let's shuffle, cut the deck over there. Card number 1, earth signs, we have got Page of Wands. Isn't he so cute? Card number 2, we have the King of Wands. And card number 3, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, this is wonderful. I love what I'm seeing here. Okay, so for our earth signs, we see very earthy signs, don't we? The colors are very earthy. You know, there's a lot of earth, there's a lot of groundedness. Feet are all firmly on the ground, except for our Wheel of Fortune, who's all the way up in the clouds. But let's have a look and see what we've got. The fact that we've got the 2 wands coming through is immediately saying to us earth signs that it's going to be a busy week for you, okay? It's going to be a busy week for you. It's going to be a week of you having to just get on and get doing with the things that you need to do. It's also going to be a week where sometimes you're going to feel a little bit unfamiliar with what you're doing, and sometimes you're going to feel very confident and very comfortable in what you're doing. But it's going to sort of jump between these two things, all right? Jump between you doing something for the first time, feeling a little bit insecure, feeling a little bit uncertain around who, what, when, and how, and then moments of, oh, but hold a second, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what's going on here. So jumping between these two the whole week. Now, I want to remind you about Simple Delight, because if at this point, when you start getting involved in doing things that you've never done before, things that you feel a little bit uncertain, unsure about, if you allow your doubts and your insecurities to creep in, you're going to not feel confident. You're going to go in the opposite direction of where you need to be going. But if you practice Simple Delight in taking on these new opportunities, these new projects, these new tasks, these new things, okay, if you bring Simple Delight into it, and if you allow yourself, if you give yourself permission to be excited about what it is that you're doing for the first time, you will master it, you will control it, and you will you will succeed at it very, very quickly. Now, the interesting card here is this Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is the card of karma. Okay, it's the karmic wheel that turns, and it basically says this is your chance to shine. All right, so Earth Signs, this week is your chance to shine. This is your week to sort of stand up and say, look at me, everybody. Look at who I am. Look at what I've accomplished. Look at, all of these kind of aspects of self. All right. And to know that this is your chance to shine. This is your chance to have the abundance and to succeed at everything that you want and need. But in order to have the success, in order to have this opportunity to shine the way that you need to and the way that you will, you have to overcome your insecurities and your doubts. You have to practice Simple Delight in everything that you do. So when somebody says to you, can you do something for me? And your normal typical reaction would be to panic and to get into a state of fear. At that point, say, no, hold a second. Simple Delight. Let me get excited. And the words that I'm hearing at this point, which are not always relevant, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, Earth Signs, fake it until you make it. That's really what these cards are saying. So for this week, fake it until you make it. Pretend, get excited, Simple Delight in absolutely everything. You will then master it and know that this is your destiny, that this is exactly the lesson and the experience that the universe is giving for you this week. So Earth Signs, certainly looks like you're in for an amazing one. Fake it until you make it. And I know that by the time we talk next week, you would have succeeded and achieved everything that you need to. Have an awesome week, Earth Signs. Have an awesome week. Right, let's put your cards away. I always mess it up. I always have this plan to keep them neat and tidy, and it doesn't work. Air Signs, let's have a look and see what the week ahead has in store for you. So let's give the cards a little shuffle. So Air Signs, we're giving the cards a little shuffle. Air Signs are focusing on Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And we're looking at the week ahead, Air Signs, of the 10th to the 16th of July, 2022, for all air sign energies of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Let's cut the deck and let's lay out your cards. So air signs, card number 1 we have is the Chariot. How cute is that? I love the colors. Card number 2 is the Two of Swords. And card number 3 is the Eight of Swords. Okay. So immediately, air signs, we have to acknowledge the Two Swords cards, okay? Swords is the suit of air. Swords is the suit of the mind, of the intellect, of the thinking, of the rationale. We have to acknowledge that out of your 3 cards, we have got the Two Swords cards. We also have to acknowledge that of our Two Swords cards, both of them are blindfolded. Now, I can assure you that the rest of the Swords cards are not all blindfolded, but here, these 2 that we have are both blindfolded. They both have an element of defensiveness, they both have an element of protection, and they both have an element of insecurity. So that becomes the predominant message for you, air signs, for the week ahead. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, it's important for you to pay attention, okay? It seems like you're heading into a week which could go in multiple directions. And if you allow your fears, your insecurities, your doubts I think that's the big key word here, is if you allow your doubts to overrun you, to overrule you, you could find yourself in a very difficult situation. But let's start at the beginning here. We've got the Chariot card. So you can see that there he is. There's our little Teddy. He's riding his chariot. You can see that he is holding the reins as well as holding his flag. All right, that is his flag of identification. It's his flag of red. It's the color of passion. It's the color of danger. It's the color of excitement. So he's like raring to go. Okay, but what we need to acknowledge here in his little face is the determination, the focused determination that he has. So he's doing a lot of things. He's trying to hold up his flag. He's trying to hold, we can't see the animals that are driving his chariot, whether they're horses, whether they're dogs, whether they're whatever, but his sleigh or his chariot is being driven by something. But he's in control. He is navigating. He is choosing the direction that they're going. We can see the farmlands behind him with all the pathways. You can see the road that he's come up, and you can see that there's speed. You know, we've got these like little lines all around the wheels showing that there is motion, showing that there is movement. Even in the way that the flag is going, there is movement. So you come into this week feeling very confident, feeling like, I know what I need to do, I know how I need to do it. But it's the sudden insecurities and the doubts and the anxieties that suddenly go, hold a second, what am I doing here? And suddenly we retreat, suddenly we close off. So we've got our arms crossed in front of our chest. I know little Teddy's arms are not that long, but arms crossed in front of the chest. We've got the two swords in our hands, which means that we can defend ourselves if we need to. But we find ourselves out in the cold. I mean, here they're sitting on a rock in the middle of water, all right, and they're feeling cold and they're feeling like they don't actually know what's going on around them. So and if you imagine yourself sitting on a rock with the waves crashing around you, the sound must be actually quite scary. And because you can't see, because there's no way of knowing, the mind starts playing tricks on you. So the perception is actually what they're afraid of, and the reality is actually not so bad. Because you can see, yes, the waves are crashing on the rocks, but it's not bad. It's not like it's coming up to the face, you know. But it's the perception. So the Two of Swords is the card of defensiveness, but it's also telling you that, you know, you can't actually see the truth. You can't actually see what's right under your nose. You can't see what's right in front of you. So we have to make sure, air signs, that for the week ahead, that you stay focused, but that you remove the blindfold, because you can easily remove the blindfold. Don't imagine, perceive, or think that things are going to go wrong, because if you think it, it's going to happen. All right? But if you're staying focused, if you're staying committed to your cause, committed to your function, committed to your goals, and you keep moving in that forward direction, you will be able to remove your blindfold and see, oh, hold a second, my situation's actually not so bad. I'm fairly safe sitting on my rock. I'm not in any danger, and I'm just going to sit here and wait for somebody to come and save me. Instead of like, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Okay? So we need to be mindful of our situation and our behaviors and stay focused and committed. Our final card that we have here, air signs, is the card of perceived danger. So here we have our little Teddy, who is standing inside what looks like a block of swords. Okay, so all of these swords have been placed into the ground. The Teddy has been placed in the middle. Teddy has got some kind of rope or something wrapped around his arms, and there is also a bandage across the eyes. So Teddy can't move Teddy's arms, and Teddy certainly can't see. Teddy knows that there is something around them, and Teddy is feeling as if that which is around them is actually trapping them, enclosing them, you know, keeping them captive, keeping them jailed, keeping them trapped. But the truth of the matter is these swords are actually protecting Teddy from Teddy's self. Okay, because if Teddy keeps wandering off, if Teddy keeps moving, Teddy's going to fall off a cliff, land up in the water, or whatever it is. So these swords, if Teddy gets near them, first of all, they would also be able to cut the ropes around Teddy's arms, but they are really protecting Teddy from slipping on the ice or doing any other kind of damage. But it's perceived danger, it's perceived value, it's perceived threat. So, air signs, it looks like you're far too much in your head this week. It looks like you're imagining, perceiving, and expecting a lot more trouble than actually there is. You need to get out of your heads. You need to get onto your chariot. You need to stay focused. You need to stay dedicated. You need to stay committed to your cause. And if you do that, this will not become a reality for you. This you'll be able to overcome. But again, it is about focusing on simple delight. So interesting one for you, air signs. Wishing you an amazing week ahead. I hope you overcome all those self limits and restrictions that you put on yourself. Have an awesome week. Okay, so let's put those cards away. Oops. Oh, I'm causing chaos. As I do. There we go. Neat enough. Water signs, welcome. Let's have a look and see what's in store for you for the week ahead. So water signs, as I'm shuffling the cards, we're talking to our Cancerians, our Scorpios, and our Pisces energies. We're looking at the week of Sunday the 10th of July through to Saturday the 16th of July 2022. What's in store for you for the week ahead? What do you need to know? What do you need to be mindful of? What is the message that Spirit have for all water signs for the week ahead from the Teddy Tarot? Okay. Let's cut the deck and let's lay them out. So water signs, card number 1, we have the Queen of Wands. I love her. She's awesome. We then have the 4 of Cups. And we have the Knight of Swords. So very interesting cards. I'm putting the tarot deck aside because we're done with it now. I don't need to keep it on the table. Right, so water signs. The first thing I want to acknowledge is we've got 2 very bright and bold cards on either end, but then we've got a card with a bit of darkness in the middle. The 2 cards that we have on the end are very powerful cards. First of all, we've got our Knight of Swords here, and you can see the movement. You can see there's galloping, there's progress, there's activity. Our Queen of Wands, though, she might not be galloping like our horses, but you know what? She is so super confident. She is so super strong, so super in control. And actually, she's just sitting there, controlling, managing, navigating everything from her throne. The cat sitting at her feet is showing protection. So as she's sitting there in the fields, in the open, she is actually vulnerable, but she's got her cat that's going to protect her. But at the same time, she's making herself accessible to others. She's sitting where her people are. She's not sitting in her castle behind the safety of the walls of the castle wall. She's sitting out in the open, and she's saying to her people, to the people she cares about, to the people she loves, I'm here for you. How can I help you? What can I do for you? But she does have protection. Everybody thinks it's a cute little fluffy cat, but we all know cute little fluffy cats can cause a little bit of harm. So our Queen of Wands, she knows how things need to be done. She knows what needs to be done. And she is overseeing everything. She is making sure that things get done in the way that they need to do and how they need to do it. But notice that she herself is not doing anything. So she is the supervisor, she is the manager, she is the overseer of the things that are being done, but she is still accessible to the people that she's helping, guiding, and assisting. So water signs, recognize that this is who you are, okay? You are Queen of Wands this week. You need to be Queen of Wands this week. You need to be that person who makes himself available, makes himself accessible, helps in every way that you can, but without actually getting in and doing the work. It's about overseeing the work being done. So recognize the role that you play. And I want to say to you, don't cross the line. And I'm saying that don't cross the line because of card number 2, which we have, which is the 4 of Cups. So 4 of Cups, here we have a teddy sitting with his back up against a tree. The sun is behind him, which is why we have this shadow, okay? So there is still daylight, there is still sunshine, there is still all sorts of stuff happening around him, but the teddy is sitting with his back up against the tree, and he's looking at these 3 cups that he has down here, and he's like, oh, you know, is this all that life is about? Is this all that life gives me? He's got a very dark outlook on life, okay, because he's sitting with his back to the sun. But he's also focusing only on the cups that he's already drunk from, that he's already tasted, that he's already experienced, and that are already empty. So he's a little bit bored, he's a little bit disinterested, and he's a little bit like, nah. You all know that feeling, that meh feeling, where nothing excites you, nothing interests you, like nothing, and you wonder, like, is this what it is all? Is this what life is all about? Is this all that life has to offer you? So Teddy's sitting with his back against the tree and feeling the way he's feeling, because what's in his vision, what's in his line of sight is only these 3 cups. His perception is only those 3 cups. He hasn't even noticed that there's a friend coming up behind him. Okay, he hasn't heard his friend, he hasn't noticed his friend, and you're probably not going to see. So let me bring the card a bit closer into the light. Friends carrying a new cup, okay, full of new glorious deliciousness, whatever the cup may contain. So he's so lost in his mind, lost in his focus, lost in his daydreams and his thoughts, that he hasn't even noticed that somebody wants to play. Somebody else wants to come and cheer him up and bring a little bit of happiness, bring a little bit of simple delight into his life. So you've got to make sure that while you're being there, okay, water signs, while you're being there for others, while you're supporting and navigating and helping others, don't allow yourself to get so distracted or so caught up in the mundane that you don't take time out to play. Bringing our Knight of Swords into it. So as I said, with this particular card, you can see that there's movement. You can see that they are charging ahead. I mean, his red cape is, you know, flurrying in the wind. You can see that the horse is running. There is movement everywhere. The Knight of Swords, his message is to just get on and do, okay? Don't overthink things. Don't over-strategize things. Just get on and do. So you've got to make sure that you're not getting so caught up in the mundane that you're not actually getting anything done, because that happens. How many times have you caught yourself coming out of a daydream and, you know, an extended period of time has lapsed and nothing has been accomplished, nothing has been done? So this is the message that I'm getting. When I look at all three of these cards, water sign, it's Spirit saying to you, you are in the right place to do a lot of good, to help, to succeed, to achieve, to accomplish. But maybe it's not exciting anymore. Maybe we've just been here for too long that suddenly we're like, oh, whatever. We're not seeing the opportunities that are there. If we can get out of the shadows and notice the opportunities and the situations unfolding around us, maybe then we can jump into action, spring into action, jump into action, and suddenly catch up on the time that we lost by being distracted. So you're in the right place. You are a little bit distracted. You can get back on track and you can sort it all out for yourself. All right, water signs. I hope the week ahead is a good one. Sending lots of love and blessings to you all. Right, so there we have our elemental signs done. It really bugs me the cards won't stay the way that I want them to and the way that I need them to. Right, friends, next on our agenda, we have our Q&A with Spirit. So here I have our Q questions. So for those of you who haven't done Q&A before, basically from this pile of questions, we draw a single question and then we use a separate or a different tarot deck to answer the question. And generally speaking, the whole idea behind this is thought-provoking questions, life-changing questions, questions that Spirit feel we need to talk about or we need to ponder or we need to be mindful of or we need to be aware of. What is something that Spirit feel that we should all be thinking about or working through or pondering over this next couple of days? Just an interesting concept for us to be working on. Because if we're not constantly thinking and growing and evolving, what's the point to life? So, cue cards, I have got a question. Let's have a look and see what is the question that we're going to be working with this week. Why do I feel so? And it says insert word here. So I, at this point, am going to ask you, and it's so fascinating, the deck that I chose to work with today, now I see why, because I was questioning myself, but I'll get onto that in a second. Why do I feel so? Insert word. Obviously, I don't know what you're feeling. I don't know what your word is, but I want you at this point to take a second to think about your word. Why do you feel so? Whether it's a negative word, whether it's a positive word, whether it's a neutral word, like why do I feel so disinterested? Why do I feel so angry? Why do I feel so sad? Why do I feel so overburdened? Whatever your word is, okay? Let's throw some positives in. Why do I feel so happy? Why do I feel so elated? Why do I feel so joyful? You know, because sometimes we can feel so guilty for feeling so good. So pick yours, all right? Pick yours. I'm going to make sure that when I do the interpretation or the reading, I'm not going to put it onto any one emotion, any one feeling, okay? So as I said to you, I find it so interesting and fascinating the way that Spirit are working today, because I stood in front of my tarot shelf and I was like, okay, so I need a tarot deck, because I'd already chosen the Teddy Tarot and I wanted a tarot deck to use for the Q&A. And I wanted a tarot deck that's different. I wanted a tarot deck that's a little bit, you know, different to the Teddy Tarot so that it stands out quite nicely. And obviously I did at that point did not know what the question was going to be, and I chose the Spacious Tarot. Now, the Spacious Tarot is a whole different perspective, okay? It's tarot from a whole different perspective. There are no people in the card. It's almost as if what you're looking at is from the eyes of a person, okay? So it's the perspective of, from your viewpoint, from your eyes looking out. So you never see the people, you never see, like here, the Spacious Tarot would be from the Queen's eyes looking at whatever it is that she's looking at, kind of situation, to give you an example. So Spacious Tarot is a little bit, I love it, but it's a little bit unusual. But because we have a blank, that's why the Spacious Tarot is such a good choice for why you feel however you're feeling. So let's shuffle the Spacious Tarot. Actually, let's do it properly. And as we're shuffling the Spacious Tarot, I want you to really focus on what it is that you're feeling. And even maybe ask yourself, why are you feeling that way? Like, do you know? Do you know why you're feeling so good, so bad, so whatever it may be? Do you know what's triggered it, what's caused it? Is it something that you're consciously aware of? So just while I'm shuffling the cards, just pay attention to what your word is. Why do you feel so, whatever it may be? And let's just see if a very generic general reading from the tarot can answer that question for everybody. Let's have a look. I'm happy with that shuffle. Let's cut the deck over there. Why do we feel so? And we have got the Guardian of Pentacles, and we have got the World. I am going to take one more. I'm just wondering how I'm going to make them fit. And one more, the Wheel of Fortune, of course. So again, what I love about this is none of these cards are specific to a person, a situation, or in anything. What we've got here, actually, let's do this. Sorry, everybody, just to make a little bit of space, because otherwise I feel like we're all cluttered. Okay, so these two cards are both major arcana cards. We've got the World and we've got the Wheel of Fortune. We've got card 21 and card 10. We also here have the Guardian of Pentacles, which is the Queen of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. So here we have a little bear. I say a little bear, but she's like the mother bear. She's the mother bear. And there she sits in her woods, sits in her space, in the place where she feels most comfortable, in the place where she feels most at home, okay? And she's touching and she's holding a huge big pentacle over there. That pentacle represents materialization. It represents the things that us humans feel we need in our lives in order to be complete, in order to be fulfilled. Pentacles is the suit of grounded, of material possessions. It's the suit of human, if I can put it that way. Okay, so here we have Mother Bear, and she's sitting in this clearing. She's not doing anything, but she's very settled and very comfortable with herself. She also recognizes that this is her kingdom, this is her space. She is very much in control. She knows that her babies are playing around in that space, so she's very aware of what's going on. She's aware of every single sound that she hears, and she's aware of every single bit of movement. Every leaf that falls from a tree, she is intuitively aware of it, and she's aware of whether it's a threat or whether it's a danger or whether it's a friend or a foe. But she's just sitting. She's not preventing, she's not stopping, she's not overprotecting, she's not, but she is. She's watching, she's aware, she's mindful, but she's not stopping the children from having any fun. Guardian of Pentacles, in the question, in answer to why do you feel so, it's because maybe you've been doing too much. Maybe you've been trying too hard to control the environment instead of just observing, instead of just noticing. Okay, so whatever it is that you're feeling, if you spend more time noticing and being acutely aware instead of doing or trying to control or micromanage or whatever, so it's a case of just stopping. Sometimes it's important to just stop, to go still, to listen. We still have a hand on that which is important and significant. We're not abandoning anything that is important or significant, but sometimes it's important to stop and to listen and to pay attention, to get an overview of everything that's going on around you before you move on. So why are you feeling so whatever? Because you need to slow down, you need to stop, you need to pay attention. When I look at the next two cards in a continuation of answering the question, we've got the World card here. And we seem to be out in the cosmos, okay? We've got all these zodiacs and all these star, what do they call them? I can't think of the word now. Constellations, thank you. Constellations. But we have this black hole. And in this black hole, we have some mountains. And we also have a vortex, a whirlwind, a whirlpool, sorry, that is developing as well. And you don't know where that's going to come out. You don't know what the other end of that is. So the World card is the card of completion, attainment, achievement, accomplishment, and knowing that, you know, just because you've completed a cycle doesn't mean that it's done and it's finished. Generally speaking, us human beings, we're constantly chasing goals. Our life is a series of milestones and a series of goals and a series of ambitions and accomplishments. And every time we tick one off, what we do is we add 2 or 3 more to our list. But it's like when we've come full circle and when we've achieved everything we needed to, we don't then jump off and spend the rest of our lives celebrating and acknowledging that. What we do is, okay, now what next? What's next? I've done that. What's next? Okay. So if you let's go babies. Once a baby is born, you know, we get so excited waiting for them to sit on their own. When they sit on their own, the whole family hears about it. Baby is sitting on its own. Then it's like the next goal is immediately put in place and the next goal is crawling. And everybody's anxiously waiting. When is baby going to crawl? When is baby going to crawl? When baby crawls, we celebrate, we acknowledge. And then, oh, is baby walking yet? Is baby running? And then is baby at school? And then is baby at university? And when do we actually just enjoy life? So why do you feel so? Because there's so many goals, there's so many achievements, accomplishments that you need to do that you're not actually enjoying the day-to-day life. There's too much going on that we are actually just not even a part of. We're doing, we're accomplishing, we're achieving. And this is where this last card comes into play. Now, I know you probably can't see anything on camera, but again, here we have that vortex, here we have that spiral. We also have this protective surroundings, which is nature-based, okay? We've got some fruit, we've got some leaves, we've actually got all seasons, all right? We have got all the 4 seasons that have come through here, and it is the Wheel of Fortune, which talks about the spiral or the cycle of life, that there's no stopping it. Okay, we cannot decide, oh, you know what, I'm not finished with winter yet. I'm going to push pause on the calendar, and I'm just going to enjoy winter for a bit longer. You cannot. You can stop, yes, and stopping is important. Stopping is necessary. But while you're stopping, everything is still going on around you. So back to the question, why do you feel so, insert your word here? It's because everything is carrying on. Everything is going on. There is so much going on around us that we haven't actually had a chance to catch our breath. We are so involved, engrossed, and active, and feel so responsible, and feel like we've got so much going on, so much that we have to do. There's so much on our shoulders that it all just becomes a blur. And we're going through life from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. How many times have you said, or have you heard somebody say, gosh, time is going so quickly? And actually, no, time is going at exactly the same speed. 1 second has always been 1 second and will always be 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 month, 1 week, whatever it may be. It doesn't change. But it's the amount of activity that we're involved in that's changing. It's the amount of pressure on us that's evolving, that's changing, that's climbing. And we're just carrying on. We're doing our best. But sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. So why do you feel like that? Because you need to be like this. We need to stop this. We need to slow this down. We need to start paying more attention to the cycles of life, realizing that we are just one tiny little element in this big cosmos of life, and that we cannot possibly do it all. But we need to find pleasure and enjoyment, thank you, simple delight, in the what we're doing in the here and the now, to put everything into perspective, to allow us to blend into the flow of life so that we don't feel like this. Gosh, friends, that was actually awesome. I enjoyed that. I hope it makes sense to you, and I hope this explanation fits into your keyword. I'd love to hear your keywords below, and how this message, speaks to your soul. So Let me know what word you chose, and if the message related. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. So friends, we have an interesting week ahead, a week of simple delight, a week of allowing abundance to flow, a week of changing our negatives into positives, bringing balance and breakthrough and transformation from the angels. I do hope you have an awesome week. I'm now going to move on to the bonus reading for my motivated and activated channel members. If that's you, stick around. And for the rest of you, thank you for being with me today. It's been an absolute honor and privilege to do this reading for you. Have an amazing week with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.